More than half of the employees are now concerned with their well-being. That is actually hurting companies. What are some of the impacts of turnover, and what recommendations do you have to reduce attrition?
I think, first of all, it is important to recognize whether you have voluntary or involuntary turnover. It's important to understand that either way, both paint a picture and both tell a story about what's really going on in your company. And it's something to pay attention to. I do believe that turnover can be healthy for an organization as long as it's on the lower single digits. When you start getting into high double digits, it's problematic. But organizations are changing every day in order to meet the client needs, the economic requirements, the compliance to state and federal laws. And therefore, it's something we have to be mindful of. But keep in mind, if an employee isn't performing well, review your hiring protocols, look at your training programs. If you're losing employees to the competitors, assess your programs, your managers, and look at your compensation model. It is definitely a race for talent out there. But it's certainly something that we want to monitor and measure on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Diane. I think it's really important that we look at, the reasons behind, why these attrition rates do increase, and we do put strong procedures in place to help support new employees as they do enter organizations and set them up to be successful long-term. I think one of the big things to be mindful of when you are having, rapid turnovers really does affect your company's morale, productivity, and the buy-in of the existing staff that are left behind. So you want to make sure you're staying close to those people as well, and you're really managing the message of turnover when it does happen, whether voluntary or involuntary. So you are setting up the rest of your team to be successful and feel stable and bought in as they move forward as well.
It's a perfect segue to our next question. When employees feel cared for, they are more likely to engage in turnover and interning, helping with recruitment and retention. What are the warning signs of employees leaving, and what are the common causes of employee turnover?
Yeah, I can kind of continue on with my train of thought from that conversation, Rachel. Like you said, it's a perfect segue. When employees start to be unsatisfied in the market, that's usually when folks like myself enter the game. We start to have conversations with people, and it's very common. You see the same patterns of behavior. People start to disengage. There's a drop in productivity. There's shifts in attitude. There's usually an increase in changes to scheduling or increased requests for time off. Oftentimes we'll see conflict across team members and with management that may not have been there before. And usually this is stemming from multiple causes for employees. It could be something as simple as they're feeling frustrated by lack of access to opportunity. They're feeling that there's been an inequality on the teams or within their position, or it could be something entirely unrelated to the business, something going on at home that's leading to this dissatisfaction. So when I am talking to candidates as a recruiter, but also within my own employee sphere, we're really careful about making sure that we're always probing for all the different kind of elements going on within their life, is looking at the whole work-life balance to make sure that they are getting the support. And, we're always being mindful of what might be triggering them to make a move or look elsewhere in the market.
Yeah, and I would like to add what Erin is saying as well. I think it's important to study the employee behavior. Look and see what's going on. There's usually two key factors: satisfaction and engagement. So monitor these areas, and you'll begin to determine who your at-risk employees are. When you have low satisfaction, you can begin to see a mental separation. Slowly, employees are kind of pulling away. We often hear that people will leave managers, which is very true. So observe how your employees are engaging with their managers. Are they satisfied with their managers? Are they satisfied with the company? If you have low engagement and low satisfaction, your employee is likely ready to start separating. So what is important is to keep in mind that you have an XY axis, and you really try to determine on a plotting graph where your employee might fit. A lot of times we do in calibration meetings, we kind of get a sense when we're doing performance management as well. So are they high or are they low? Excuse me. I think the last thing is to look at your compensation philosophy. And that's often a different word for people. They'll be along the lines of, well, we have comp, we have base, we have salary, but look at your philosophy. You want to be at market, you want to be competitive and treat your employees equitably. Don't look for the bargain when hiring employees. Pay your employees what they're worth, and they'll return that. So always be mindful of what the market looks like on that.
Adam, I see you shaking your head. So what are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, both Aaron and Diane are just spot on with their analysis on this. And, I think engagement is really the key issue here. And when you begin to see employees become disengaged, they feel removed from the company. They don't feel like they're a part of a team. They're watching the clock. They're waiting until 5 o'clock turns, and they're not exercising any discretionary effort as well. So you're seeing the bare minimum from employees, and you're seeing productivity begin to lull. And what I see in my world is disengaged employees are often the ones that leave either voluntarily or involuntarily. And they're also the ones that go talk to plaintiff employment attorneys about how terrible the working environment is, and how it's a hostile place, and how they want to bring claims against the company. So engagement really is a key indicator here, and effective engagement could be the difference maker as well.